Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex. My name is Michael Mansour. I'm joined as always from his home at the moment. My lovely, wonderful co-host Alexander Volz. Say hello.
Very big, not so black.
This is Every Album Ever, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. That is a new discography for the most part per episode. And today we are talking about
Big Black.
Hell yes.
Of course. The security guard for security guards that skaters hire.
No,
I'm kidding.
no.
Band.
This is the band. This is a Steve Albini band. I am excited as a motherfucker. Before we get into any of that, if you'd like to support us and help us out, please subscribe on all the fucking things. You know where we're at. We're on everything. You know, if you like podcasts, you know where podcasts are, and we are there as well. If you want to follow along with us, book club style, send us emails about the fucking artists that we are covering in real time, or that doesn't make any sense. Real time for us, not real time for you. You want to send us emails about the artists that we're currently covering. Follow me on Instagram to find out who we're talking about. I post stories and all that, informing everybody who the fuck we're listening to at the moment. So follow me at Pope Jesse Ventura for that. And Alex
At Mother Puncture.
And if you want to suggest an artist for us to bicker about, talk about, agree about, bond over, you can send all those to everyalbumever@gmail.com, as well as your comments on fucking whatever artist. Man, I botched that. Who cares? I'm done. Also, if you want to listen to more Big Black at the end of the episode, please be sure to check out the Spotify playlist that we've put together full of our favorite songs. You can find a link to that in the description of wherever you're listening and watching, as well as everyalbumever.com, where we got playlists associated with every single goddamn episode. Man, I was going to actually make an attempt to not swear within the first few minutes, and I fucking, nope, not going to happen. Maybe one day, but not for a while until I get more used to not being a horrible sailor mouth person. God damn, I am not doing this well. So, Big Black. This was just like last week. Shopping Young Lad was an Alex pick. This week is a Mike pick. I was very excited to go back to this band. I've been listening to them since I was a young boy, probably middle school time, whatever. So I'm a big fan of this. It was very nostalgic going back to all these, and especially with like a weird objective lens that we try to do, picking a best that wasn't shrouded in all my biases and all that. So I had a wonderful time. I love this band. Alex, if you say one word, I will slaughter you. I will go over there. I will knife you. I'm kidding, obviously. What did you think?
Yeah, I've heard a few songs, but this is the first time like listening to full albums and EPs. It is a very short, sweet trip. It's a rough 2 weeks for listeners who don't like heavy music because we just traded metal for punk-ish.
Yeah. This is not an easy listen. This is not for everyone. Although it's one of those bands that I wish I could recommend to everyone because of how much I like them. But objectively, oh my God, this is one of the noisiest bands ever in history of all of alt music, probably. And they're regarded highly because of that.
I feel like they help spearhead industrial music, but at the same time, they don't really get mentioned in the same breath.
They do not. I don't know why exactly. Maybe it's because they're too punk, and they're not even a punk band. They're just extremely punk spirited. Lyrics are extremely controversial. They're very fast. They use a drum machine. That's also super weird for punk, but one of the many things that makes them kind of industrial. They're drum machine band. And also, elephant in the room, Steve Albini, legendary recording engineer, because he avoids the term producer. This was his first band. And Steve Albini's guitar playing and guitar tone specifically is the thing of legend and myth because if no one can ever replicate it, even though he's publicly published all the things that he uses, people still can't replicate it. It's this weird anomaly of a guitar sound. It's fucking awesome. It sounds like construction equipment.
Are they using metal picks?
They are. They use.
Oh shit!
Here's the thing. I use metal picks, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't do that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Only he can do it.
Only he can somehow. And here's the thing. I started using metal picks because of Steve Albini, because I thought like anything to kind of bring in that weird metallic sound. And we say metal as though it is steel, not as though it is heavy metal. This is the most metal sounding. Yes. This is very much an iron, steel, aluminum band. And also, to keep with the metal theme, he still uses, but he uses aluminum guitars, or Travis Bean, which used aluminum necks, which I don't believe affect the sound that much, but it attributes to the overall.
Might as well.
Everything about this band is metallic. The guitars he's using, the picks, the weird sound where it sounds like fucking power saws in every song. It's extremely noisy, extremely abrasive, but goddamn if it isn't hooky as hell. These songs are real hooky.
Yeah. And if the music doesn't turn you off, the lyrics probably will. One thing that I appreciate about the lyrics, because it's harder to have like these morally gray songs compared to like books or stories, I think. And I don't think there's any easy answers.
Wait, why do you think that is? Why not songs, but why yes books and movies and stuff?
Because there's more to elaborate on, and there's you can write a very like dry, just the facts. You can elaborate more, and I feel like music, more so than movies or anything else, is very much an emotional thing. And then with Big Black, you get these songs where you're like, oh, it's clearly about subject A.
Right.
But I don't feel like the band took any stance after the song is over. It's just about that.
This band, Steve Albini more specifically, they sung about the just most gnarly fucking shit. And it, like, whether it's child molestation or racism or police brutality, a lot of police stuff, oddly relevant, but eerily relevant.
I was not ready to listen to a relevant band right now.
Yeah.
But
And I love, and here's the thing, I never really paid attention to lyrics back in my youth. I knew they were controversial. I knew, like, it's one of the things they're known for, but I never paid attention, never read them. This time around, like, it didn't hit me like until my fucking late 20s that, oh yeah, Passing Complexion's about racism. Like, holy fucking, how do I not realize that when it's called the song is called Passing Complexion? Like, it's a brilliant song title, and it's a brilliant theme I've never heard that covered in a song before. Like, being passable as a white person, even though you're not. That's a crazy gray area. Interesting song themes. And it's always done either satirically or matter-of-factly, but clearly this dude isn't beating his wife, which is, some songs are about beating your wife. And if you think that, then you're probably either an idiot or a little too sensitive for a band like this, because it's clearly done in a very objective, through the looking glass is the right term, but it's very much done as objective. They're looking at it as a topic, as a thing that we all know. It's like a Dead Kennedys, but less absurd, less goofy, probably.
Yeah, this is gritty.
Yeah.
Street level shit.
Yeah.
Where the Dead Kennedys are Mad Magazine.
That is a very, very apt way to put it. Very nice. Man, I really like this band a lot. I'm so glad to go back to them. It was very hard for me to divvy up all my accolades or whatever the fuck we do here, because I think they didn't put out a bad record, but clearly some are better than others, and especially among fans, some are more remembered. So the way I heard these guys in my youth, so Big Black has overall 4 EPs and 2 full-length albums. First EP was 1982. The last album was 1987. I mentioned this in our ISIS episode, I believe. What is it, 37? Probably. I don't know. I don't want to check right now. I'll check. I'm not a lazy ass. I mentioned that in that episode that Big Black, along with them, were one of the few bands that quit at the height of their career. ISIS episode 38. They quit at the height of their career. They were at their most popular, and they're like, okay, we're done, which is a very bold and difficult thing to do. I don't think I would ever do that. I don't think I have the power to do that, or the self-control or fortitude to do that. So it's a very interesting thing when you know you're done, you're done kind of thing. So
even to this day, Steve Albini has he charges every band the same, whether you're
to record, you mean?
Yeah. Whether you're the Foo Fighters or they're getting charged the same. He's insane.
He's a wonderful man. So it's for those who don't know Steve Albini, he's legendary for a reason, and he is one of the few. I don't want to say producer because he really hates that for some reason, but engineer who still uses reel-to-reels. He still uses everything analog. He does not like digital, and it sounds like a crotchety old man kind of thing. But from what I've heard of him, he says the second that digital can do something that I can't do with analog, then I'll switch over. So that's basically he likes what he does. He likes how he does it. If he can't do it that way, then he'll move on. But as of now, it's still very analog. And he recorded infamously Nirvana's In Utero, which is one of the best sounding albums I think ever made. And it almost bankrupted him because mainstream does not like recording processes like his, where it sounds very live. It was a very live sounding album. If you go back and listen to In Utero now and compare it to any other Nirvana albums, there was a fucking distinction. That shit sounds like it's right next to you. It's one of the most clear, booming, you almost feel the fucking vibrations of the drums specifically. He has a very, very beloved recording style. And there's another thing that it was during an interview with him. He also prefers live recording as opposed to track by track. Track by track means you record guitar. All right, now over that you overdub bass, over that you overdub drums, etc. Whatever. He likes the full band getting in there, recording it all at once, and then moving on from there. The way the analogy he used was such a fucking bizarre one. He said, take for example a beautiful woman. So a beautiful woman walks in, you acknowledge her as a beautiful woman, or you can also get a beautiful thigh or a beautiful buttock and a beautiful arm, and you put that all together as a beautiful woman. Which one do you like more? The full body or the frick? You know what I mean? So interesting guy. I got totally sidetracked there, but what I was gonna say was when I first heard these, it was back in the days of CDs being relevant. It was before streaming. It was before vinyl really kind of had a comeback. The first 3 EPs were all released as a compilation CD called The Hammer Party, which is a fucking excellent compilation. And then their first album and the first album, Atomizer, the Headache EP, and the Heartbreak single were all released as the Rich Man's 8-track tape. So that was another compilation CD. That CD left off one track from Atomizer for some reason. I don't know why. So it kind of doesn't even fucking matter. But on streaming, they're all separated into EPs and LPs. So that's why we're doing them individually. I don't know why I gave that whole backstory. I just think we're thorough here, okay? But also, we're covering the EPs, but we're not covering the Heartbreak single, the El Duce Rama Rama single, and the He's a Whore single. So those have different songs. I don't think you need to. Heartbreak is on streaming. It's fine. It's got Heartbreak, which is a Wire song. It's a cover of a Wire song and 2 other songs. El Duce is not streaming. I heard that as a vinyl years ago. And He's a Whore, which is a Cheap Trick cover, is also streaming. It's a cover. But everything else we're doing is canon. Whatever the fuck. I'm talking a lot. Please stop me. I can't do it anymore. Please talk.
Yeah, I mean, that was very thorough. I thought this was gonna take a bit of time to listen, but it was easy for me to get through these. And I've been preparing for a move and playing The Last of Us. So
as am I.
Got distracted with those things.
So did I.
So I very much appreciate the length of this
extremely discography.
Yeah,
it's the longest record is, I think, less than 40 minutes, and the shortest is like 10 minutes. So this is a fun, breezy. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to breeze through it. I thought it was going to be a little rougher on me.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey man, they know when to quit. They know when to wrap it up. Apparently.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna start album by album, EP by EP. Here it is, the very first one, 1982's Lungs. Ooh.
Much like Strapping Young Lad from last week, the first thing we're listening to is all Albini. This is not a full band.
Nope, this is all him in like a basement or something like that.
It's like the most synthy thing.
Oh, for sure. And if you listen to the drum machine, well, obviously it's a drum machine, but this is a very, we're not going to hide that it's a drum machine sound.
Yes.
Whereas basically from after this point forward, they're at least trying to make it sound like a drum set. They're using a different, different samples.
And this riff's guitar, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just how crazy he is. That
you really don't know.
If you're not familiar with the band, you think, oh, it could be keys.
Yeah. There is synth on this record, but not on the rest, pretty much. Very little on the rest.
Really also, like his vocals on this song are so nerdy.
On this whole EP. Like he's...
Yeah.
We'll talk about his vocals in a minute, but I really love this song. But this is basically what you're getting. Have you always hunted with your hands? If you catch it, can you kill it? All right, let's talk.
I enjoy the like lyrical content of that song because I feel a lot of times in conversations with people, they try to use their job as justification for
right.
Like, hey, you can't do that. I'm a steel worker. What about us steel workers? And it's like you're a fraction of everybody else.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what the song is getting at by listing these jobs. And then what is it? I'm a killer.
I'm a hunter-gatherer. I kill what I eat. I'm a murderer.
Yeah. I kill what I eat. Yeah. So it was just like a very cool commentary there.
And already he's being a dick. Already from like his first EP, he's being an asshole to everybody pretty much.
Yes.
Albini is a very pushy guy. It sounds like not pushy, but like real much like real, you know what? Fuck you. And I don't mind pissing you off. Kind of, it's very punk. It's very punk in that sense. Obviously this doesn't sound very punk. I think he does not like this EP. And I get it. It's not aged that well. It's kind of rough.
Yeah. I enjoyed it still.
So did I.
Still think it's,
I really like, I get that it's really like the writing alone. It's very much a dude in his basement kind of.
Oh yeah.
It's not that interesting. And obviously the recording is pretty rough. And his vocals are the weakest, I think, in his entire career with all of his bands. They've never been this bad. He's just sort of talking, but mad. Like, I don't know how else to describe it.
His vocals sound like what he looks like, just like a nerdy guy with glasses.
Yep. With the Professor Round glasses too. Like, that's a real nerdy dude. And his guitar tone hasn't quite gotten to what we know. This isn't that noisy.
It's still unique as all hell, though.
It's unique, and especially with Dead Billy, which I think is probably the highlight of the whole EP.
That song's super sleazy.
Oh, yeah.
Very reminiscent, like if the Birthday Party was more electronic.
You shouldn't have said that because I'm going to put it on. This is Dead Billy. I love that synth. What a gnarly
I wonder
bass.
if any like hip hop guys so sample Big Black. I think it'd make for an interesting.
It would be very cool. I think.
You need the right guy.
Right.
Though. You can't just.
So this guitar right here, it sounds like a buzzsaw. This sounds a lot more like what we'll hear later.
Hey, little girl.
there's the birthday party ass.
Yeah.
Although they're like heroes, right? They're the same
Same time period. Yeah, they're around the same time period. Different parts of the world, vastly different scenes, vastly.
Yes.
We didn't mention it very much. We didn't go into the backstory of Big Black too much, but they're from Chicago, or Albini's from Chicago. What other stuff should we talk about, backstory wise?
He taught himself how to play bass when he broke his leg in a motorcycle accident. And then he just kind of, it evolved from there into recording lungs, which legend has it he just gave someone a case of beer to.
Really?
Yeah, in exchange. So.
Good God, man. I long for days when that was acceptable. God damn. Paying people in beer. That's like, oh, did you ever hear that story about how Rolling Stones paid the Hells Angel in beer to security one of their like giant.
Oh yeah, that was a big mess.
Couple people died.
Huge mess.
Yeah, fucking
yeah.
morons.
No one ever likes to talk about that one.
Oh, I remember that.
The Rolling Stones.
I remember that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, love Steelworker, love Rip. They're not like spectacular, but they're super fun. And it's like, especially in the punk days where roughness was not only excused but kind of embraced. Like I think this is extremely charming. I like this EP a lot. Clearly,
I do
go ahead.
Oh, on riff, I think that's the closest you'll get to the closest you'll get to a traditional guitar sound on that track. Yeah.
It's otherwise, like, for example of what I think is bad example, not good, is Crack. Good Lord, the synths and vocals on that are hard to sit through. They're pretty rough. It sounds more like a sound collage. It's a song, but the only thing kind of keeping it together as a song is the drum machine. Not a fan of that, but and also don't really care for I Can Be Killed. It's just very 80s and very like, all right, it's again, it's still charming more than it is good.
Yeah, I feel like we covered the three
big ones, the three good ones.
Yeah, three big songs.
Even saying that, like, I was expecting to be more harsh on this one. I was expecting to like think this was like worse, undoubtedly, but I don't know. There's something about it. I like that drum machine sound. It's just weird. It's like that era's equivalent of a really good SoundCloud artist. That's what it reminds me of.
Also, it has a citation needed on the wiki, so take this with a big grain of salt. It said the original copies, they would send like trading cards and fish hooks and condoms.
Oh, that would be hilarious if that's true.
Yeah, but then they had to stop doing the fish hooks and razor blades.
I wonder why.
Because,
Jesus.
But yeah, citation needed on that one. That may not be true, but it's like, it's something you can picture that. As
we'll get into it with future records, they do some weird shit. They're a weird band. They took advantage of their place in time and their place adjacent to the punk scene to do some shit that wouldn't fly these days at all. I think it's really cool, but we'll get there and when we get there. So yeah, not aged well. I would never recommend newcomers come here. But Dead Billy holds up, I think, and it's fun. It's fun and charming. So
Steelworker, Dead Billy, Rip. That's what you need.
Those are for sure going to be on the playlist. That's a no-brainer. Now let's move on to 1983's Bulldozer. And here we go. That's that guitar.
Is it galvanized steel though?
I have no
idea. It is. No, it is. It is. I'm just. I wouldn't really give a shit either. I was just being
right. Believe it or not, that's a riff, everybody.
That's a riff.
That's a riff.
just sitting at home. That's riff. We're done here.
Oh, I love this song so much. Also, that's a real drummer.
I don't know how we come here. Guess I just needed the bang. We watch the beat and then we pull on the rope and then the hammer comes down.
This song is so fucking satisfying. Especially
those are some grade A punk vocals now, though.
Absolutely. He's stepped up his vocal game like crazy. I want to get to that chorus.
Game on!
Oh, God.
Game on! Game on!
Damn. I fucking love his vocals in this song. And they've gotten a lot better overall, as we can hear. That's a real drummer.
Yeah, he asked the dudes from Naked Ray Gun to join him for this time around. So now you get Santiago Durango and Jeff Pizzatti.
Yeah, Jeff Pizzatti. Jeff Pizzatti was a singer of Naked Ray Gun. I don't know if you've heard them before. I only heard
I have not.
I've heard maybe like their first EP or so. I remember liking them a lot. I think they're still around, which is like a weird under the radar band that has been around forever. But Santiago Durango would stay with Albini until the end. Jeff Pizzatti's, he only recorded a few EPs. That drummer might as well be a drum machine. That dude sucks. And there's still drum machine on here. Like it's like implemented either within the song or as an intro to the song. Like it's not just a real drummer the whole time. And this is also the only record with the real drummer in the entire discography.
Yeah, it's and that gentleman would be Pat Brine.
I'm very sorry for insulting you, Pat.
But it's very interesting it's almost a concept album to record, or a concept EP to record a concept EP. Just all about the horrible shit mostly rednecks in middle America do when they're bored. Like that first song is just about after school, we're just going to go get boners at the slaughterhouse because there's nothing else to do.
And man, it's funny. Like some of this stuff, you really feel it, like lyrically, along with the way it sounds. Like Pigeon Kill sounds fucking murdery. Like just those two guitars together, it sounds murdery.
That's another highlighting a weird fucked up thing people do when they're bored. I don't know if they still do it, but they just
kill pigeons.
Give people and kids pigeon food with cyanide in it, and this feed. That's like serial killer shit.
It's serial killer shit. This is it, dude. These lyrics are gnarly. And okay. First of all, I love Texas as a song. I think it's one of the funnest, most awesome, high energy rockers that they've ever done. I think even the drummer sounds really good on it. And then lyrically, it's just fuck. It's like, don't play this for anybody in the South. That's it's really mean. It's so mean.
I like that song.
It's a great song.
It's gonna be on the playlist
without a doubt.
Sure.
Yeah, it's so. I'm putting it on just a little bit. It's so fucking good. This is Texas.
That's what I mean by it's like morally gray.
Yeah.
It's an anti-Texas song, but then there's, some racial slurs in it.
Some slurs. And that's the thing, with bands like Dead Kennedys and Big Black, they're using racial slurs to highlight a fucking point. That's I think that's pretty important, especially in art, to highlight certain things that are wrong with society. And sometimes you gotta be dirty to do that. Also, this is fucking just badass.
It's a great song.
Those harmonies they really utilize two guitars in a way that is somehow it works despite its extreme abrasiveness. Because they're not just playing the same thing, but if you don't really pay attention, it just sounds like cacophony. And like, you hear oftentimes when people describe music as like, oh, blistering buzzsaw guitars. No, this sounds like a fucking buzzsaw. This is as grindy as it gets, really.
Yeah. Seth, you get their first anti-cop song there.
They got it's about a racist dog, I believe.
I thought it was about a racist cop.
Oh no, Seth is just a racist dog. He bit me because he thought I was black. It's about a racist dog.
Oh no, it's about a guy who trained
that makes
the
more
dog.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Yeah.
No, we're both right. Yeah, it's about a.
What a weirdly specific. Like it's once again highlighting something super fucked up, but in a way that is really specific and unique. It's not just, hey, look at how bad society is. I'm going to talk about how much I hate society. It's no, look at this one instance of someone doing something fucked up. It's like, I don't think there's enough of that in lyrical things. I like the concept of doing mini stories. Like every song is a little story. They just happen to be really fucked up, but just in general, little stories for each song. These guys.
Yeah, it reminds me of that author. Herbert Shelley Jr.
Who's that?
Shelby Jr. He wrote the Last Exit to Brooklyn. It's just this, this brutal examination of America and these gritty small towns.
Mm-hmm.
There's another author. I'm cheating today because this.
If you got the computer, use it, man. That's what I do.
Like William S. Burroughs.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, they're like the punk William S. Burroughs.
Right. Yeah. And to go back to the music for a second, we already said it a little bit. Albini is obviously a lot better now. There's more barking and shouting, or I don't know how to describe it other than like screaming in tune. Like he's not singing. He's not screaming while singing. He's not doing it. He's just barking, but it's in key. And
to be able to do that over both guitars too,
it takes some finesse. And unlike the first EP, you never guess that these screams are coming from such a nerdy looking guy. Like this is officially like, all right, they're aggressive, they're threatening sounding, they're really cool. And the other thing, overall production light years better than the first one.
Yes.
It's like, it's clear and heavy. That bass is extremely punchy. And the guitars, even though they're real scrapey and they're real metal sounding, they're oddly clear. I would love to give this a thing. I really like this EP. I've listened to it so many times, like on vinyl and stuff, just repeatedly. But I think I'm a Mess and Jump the Climb are just they're weak enough to be like, okay, all right, it's not perfect. They're fine.
Jump the Climb, the only one without real drums on it.
That's right. Drum machine the whole way. Still think it's awesome. Still think it's a huge step up, and they're only going to get better from here. Ready to move on?
Yes.
Let's do it. This is 1984's Racer X. Fuck. I love this so much.
When I threw it on, I was like, oh, it wasn't Mike's favorite Devo song, Racer X, but
I'm
exaggerating because you hated it. It was just called Speed Racer, though. So
Speed Racer. They have a song called Timing X, and then a song I hated called Speed Racer.
Yeah.
Episode 3, we talked about
this. This is much like the cartoon, this is the inverse.
Yeah.
And the cooler, better sounding.
Oh, yeah. This is a pissed... Oh, man, that sounds so good. Such a pissed off song. It's so simple, but so driving and heavy. It's literally 2 notes.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's so good. I just want to punch someone in the face when I listen to this. I just like it's that primal.
Got a big white X.
All right. I gotta do it. Personal favorite.
Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. There is a lot going on here.
Yeah, this is I really love this EP. I've always loved this EP. I didn't think it was gonna hold up as my favorite after all this time. It does. I fucking love it, man. That opening track is one of their best songs. It's like it's just two notes for the most part, and then at one point it adds one more note, I guess. But just the presentation is so fucking angry. It's a great opener. Shotgun is so fucking good. Shotgun is unbelievable. That bass, that fucking sludgy. I'm putting it on. Sorry, I'm getting worked up, but that bass is just too good. This is Shotgun.
It's one of the most vulgar songs too.
Oh, these guys. These guys.
There's no innuendo or metaphors either. If people look up the lyrics, it's literally...
They are matter of fact as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, great beat. Oddly melodic too. God, this band is so fucking good. Okay. I'm just gonna start gushing over every single one, but gotta talk about Deep Six. What
Deep
the hell?
Six.
That is the groovy one.
Give me a taste.
You want to taste the Deep Six? This is
I want.
Here we go.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. The song subjects more than the.
Right. Here we go.
Yeah, this is driving around in a beat up car. You're gonna get arrested music.
Oh yeah, don't play this in front of anybody, and you'll notice right here. So it just sounds like he's swearing. First of all, it's super fucking catchy. It's catchy as hell. It sounds like he's just yelling obscenities. But like some of my favorite lyrics, maybe of all time, I'm God's gift to women. They always want my dick, except for that college girl. I'll kill her. Like, it's about a dude who's it's one of those guys who just thinks they're the shit and who's willing to kill and does everything. It's just about a piece of shit, pretty much.
A lot of these characters, will and are ready to kill throughout their songs.
Yeah.
One that really stood out to me was Ugly American.
Yeah.
Just not only does this crank up the intensity the way it sounds, but it is so driven by hate.
You can hear it. It is one of the most aptly titled. It is ugly. It is. Are those like horn blasts in there? It sounds like random horn blasts. You can barely make out a note, but it is very. All right, we're putting it on. Because this is.
Yeah.
This EP is like 17 minutes long. I think. Yeah, we can play a taste. Here it is. Ugly American.
We're gonna have a real short podcast if we didn't play these songs.
I know.
Just a great way of how precise they can be with noise.
Yeah. That's one thing I really love about this band is that they Albini, he's always done this in all of his bands where he'll do this thing where I guess there'll be a bass line and he'll play kind of the same thing over it, but with a fuck ton of open notes and wrong notes, quote unquote, in there. So to add this layer, like, yeah, you're hitting notes that I guess someone who's really trying to make something beautiful would leave out, or they'd make it a major chord instead. He just fucking hammers on all these notes with like willy-nilly pretty much. And it ends up coming across like, that kind of works. It doesn't sound ugly. It doesn't sound wrong. It's technically wrong from a technical standpoint, but it sounds all right. And it's a lot of that band is that. Like, it's just, fuck it. We're just going to hit all the notes and they're going to land where they do. And this, I probably will say this is not this is not going to be everyone's favorite. This is my favorite, but like Sleep, it's fine. It's okay. It doesn't really fit in, I don't think. An Ugly American is so messy and ugly. I feel like it would rub a lot of people the wrong way. And then mostly they cover James Brown, the Big Payback.
Yes.
What a weird and kookiest covers I've ever heard.
Yeah. And that makes it one of the greatest covers
it's
ever.
Awesome. I remember actually not liking it when I was younger because it was like, what why? But I like it now. It worked. It's just strange. It's stranger than usual. It's a weird ending to a weird EP.
It makes sense though. I mean, the lyrics are like 100% what the original are, but the theme of revenge and killing people very much fits into Big Black's motif.
And this EP specifically, he uses the term 12 gauge a lot in a bunch of different songs. He just keeps talking about fucking 12 gauges. Not to mention that one song is literally called Shotgun, but a lot of them. But it's diverse for their standards. And by that, I literally mean you get, the crazy, simple badassness of the title track, and then you get that groovy, funky Deep Six, and then you get the weird Big Payback kind of stuff. Like it's not just noise and anger. It has a little bit of range, again, for their standards. It's a lot more confident. I feel like it feels a lot more confident. It's heavier, noisier. They've given up, obviously, the live drummer, so that drum machine is cranked way up. It's produced in a way that is very not distorted, but it's just rugged. Everything about it is very rugged. I think it's wonderful. It's one of my all-time favorites. Love it. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, they can do as they've proven, they can do a lot on an EP. So
sure can. And it's once again very fitting of the punk scene and stuff. Most things were EPs or very few records for full lengths or whatever. So EPs were kind of considered, you would tour to promote an EP kind of thing. So each of these is very distinct. I feel like there might as well be albums. I've listened to these individually. I listened to them with the compilations on CD. I've listened to them on vinyl. And these are fucking all standalones. But now we're on to the actual first album. Here it is, 1985's Atomizer. Of all the song themes, this one is one of the hardest to talk about or sit through.
This is wild. I'll wait because there's lots to talk about with this song, but
it's also a great song.
Damn, what an opener! If there were no lyrics, it's still amazing.
Exactly. Oh, god damn, it's so fucking good. And it's so nostalgic. Like, the second I put this on, like, I'm 12 years old again. It's crazy. Don't let your 12-year-old listen to this album. Oh, god, these lyrics. Okay, alright, let's talk.
Yeah, so before we go into that song, best personal favorite, I think this is one of the greatest albums I haven't heard until doing this podcast.
Very cool. It's not mine. I get it though. I think it's a fucking wonderful album.
Also, as like a noob, if you're gonna start
here. Yeah.
Start here
for sure. I agree with that. This is, I think, where I started.
Bangers.
Oh, it has like most of their most beloved songs. So let's talk a little bit about that opening. That's Jordan, Minnesota. That is named after a city in Minnesota. Why is it called that, Alex?
So in the 80s, there was a lot of sensationalism, the satanic panic. We need to protect our children. And I'm still not quite sure. I started reading up on the incident, but basically it just wasn't. It was people believed there was this ritual sex ring going on in Jordan, Minnesota, and that all the adults were abusing all the children. They pinned it on one guy, and that it was not the case.
Oh, so none of it happened?
Yeah.
Interesting. So when did that come out?
I don't know when it became clear that it was all sensationalism and part of that whole, panic thing. But even Albini is like, it's very, it's pretty shameful that I bought into it. But, at the time, it was just, And, I was reading about how, the performance of the song was very disturbing to witness live.
Really?
Yeah, I think even Santiago would be like, Albini, tone it down.
Oh, was he like mimicking kid sounds?
Yeah.
I'm assuming so. Yeah, because I mean the lyrics they're succinct, they're simple, but they're brutal. And I mean, what else are you gonna get from a guy who likes pissing people off, writing a song about child molestation, and
doubling down on fucked up small town America on this one.
No kidding. And then immediately after we get Past the Complexion, which I mentioned earlier, what a fucking song, dude.
Yeah, that's one of the best guitar riffs ever. And
yeah, I have to put it on. I have to put it on because it's so. If you've heard of Big Black, you've heard of this guitar line. That's how big it is for them. So this is Past the Complexion. That.
Not even guitar.
It is.
No, I know.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like fucking some, I don't know, weird synth industrial sample. It's so pretty, but in almost creepy kind of way.
I was gonna say, it's fucked up. You can dance to this song.
Yeah. So we mentioned earlier that's a song about being black but passing as white and what comes with that kind of thing. Very gnarly, heavy topic. But also that guitar line, it sounds like a synth. It sounds like who knows what the fuck it is. What I believe it is, based on my expert opinion, and also watching live footage, it's literally guitar harmonics from both guitar players. Or maybe it's just Santiago. I don't remember. Guitar harmonics. But the way it's recorded, it's done in a way, obviously, with a lot of effects on it, a lot of, studio stuff. And I believe it's looped, it's sampled, because the way it loops around,
that makes sense.
It sounds like a loop. Obviously, live, it sounds a lot different. But it's a beautiful line. It's a crazy song. It's a great song. And the first half of this album is like fucking flawless, I think.
Yeah, it's insane. Skipping over Big Money a little bit, and then
which is also very good.
Kerosene. Holy shit, what a song.
That's their most famous song. If you've heard of Big Black, you've probably heard the word kerosene. That is definitively the most famous song. It is wonderful. Good God, that song.
Veering off topic, it is in, like, I saw Lamb of God covered it.
Really?
And I'm like, how does a band like Lamb of God cover this?
Yeah.
And it's just, man, I almost want to say you can't. Like, I love Lamb of God, but it's just like, it was not. Yeah.
It's not what this is, is what you're saying.
Yeah. This is the
presentation
where
of
it's at.
Yeah. The way they pull it off, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's just as this is obviously noisier than the record before it. And I mean, everything's noisy. Like, there's very little space on this record. It is all like a goddamn clusterfuck. Everything is very fuzzy and noisy and clangy, very clangy. And
not a waste of.
There's not a wasted frequency on this album. Kerosene is a little bit slower, a little bit more mid-pace. It's like 6 minutes long. It's very long for their standards. They usually do pretty short songs.
Fastest 6 minutes ever.
It is fantastic. It's about being so bored in a small town that you decide to set yourself on fire. And that's as beautiful of a song theme that I can think of.
Yeah, there's also some double entendre there with sexual stuff too. So
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that at all. Actually, I mean, as we'll get into with their last album, there's plenty of that as well.
Well, that's a good segue into Fist of Love.
Yep.
Where he, again, a very gray song about how the lines of fetishes and S&M or BDSM,
Yeah.
are blurred with domestic violence.
Yeah. Weirdly specific, weirdly relevant. Especially,
I think he was or is still into like kinky sex, because I found a few quotes where he talks about how, you start off with choking, some light slapping, and he's like, I had friends who like getting punched in the fucking face.
Dude, I'm just saying, if you're a guy, you've had at least one girl ask you to choke her or slap her. That is universal. All right. Some guys are into it back. I felt weird. I felt uncomfortable. I felt like either I was hitting too hard or not hard enough. I don't know exactly. Oh shit. Okay, for everyone listening and watching, there was definitely a cut. My computer crashed in the middle of me talking about very rough sex, which is very awkward and uncomfortable, especially if you're suspecting that I might be a weird guy. That's the worst time for me to be interrupted. What I was trying to say is that it's not that uncommon. It's not uncommon, and also it's also a thing in recent years that's being talked about way more openly, which I think is very cool. Whether or not you're into it is kind of irrelevant, but. Also, how unsurprising is it that a guy who looks like Steve Albini is into some weird shit?
Oh, not surprising at all.
I know, right?
It's always the most unassuming people. You know what? I did take the chance to backtracking while your computer crashed, because it took a little bit. I looked up the St. Vincent version of Kerosene.
She covered it?
That is fucking amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about her. I like her as a producer and I like a couple of her songs. As a songwriter, I'm not a fan. She's obviously very talented and she's good at what she does, but it's just not my style. I'm very curious because one of the things that she's amazing at is things sounding very good. Noisy stuff, interesting soundscapes. Very cool. Very cool. Also, she's like the exception. She made it mainstream, sort of mainstream, but she's still kind of associated with alti underground stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh man, when she did the Grammys with Dua Lipa. Oof.
Didn't see that, but that sounds wild. Ooh. She's a very lovely lady as well. Yeah, in case you couldn't tell. Yes. Also, she was on To Be Kind, Swans, which is a great album. She guessed on that.
Oh, that's right.
Guest vocals. Right. I haven't heard her in a long time. I need to go back to her.
Yeah, getting back to the album. It kind of jumped ahead a little bit, but Bad Houses is a good break from all the unrelenting noise. It's a nice little. Yeah. I mean, it's not a nice song. None of these songs are nice.
Here's the thing. Bad Houses is a legitimately beautiful song. It's like probably their most melodic song ever. It's paced perfectly. It's right in the middle of the album when you need a break. It's a little bit more easy. It's more easygoing, slower, kind of spacey. Lyrically, it's still very fucked up. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming it's like about a John or about being a John.
Boy, oh boy, I should have had that ready to go.
It seems as though like it's not super clear. It's just kind of like it can be implied that the narrator is a John and he's going to do some stuff that he's not very proud of.
If you have like the physical albums, they all have little notes about what these songs are about. Yeah, I think a male hooker may not be too far off.
Right. My problems with this album is just how much it loses steam at the end, and it loses some fucking steam. Like as a song, Fist of Love doesn't really do it for me. It's okay, but mostly, so Strange Things was not on the Rich Man's 8-track tape, not the compilation.
I wanted to talk about that because I thought it was a rad closer, but I also have read like how the CD versions are different than the vinyl versions.
sort of. So just that, as far as I know, I'm going to strangle your dogs, Alex. I'm going to strangle your dogs. I'm kidding. I'm not going to strangle your dogs. But Strange Things. So it was so weird hearing a big black song that I'd never heard before. I was like, wait, hold the fuck up. Wait, what? What? Because I've heard this album a million times, and this song was never on it. I don't care for it. It's not for me.
I thought it was like a cool little closing track, but also I have no point of reference.
Right.
So this was, I mean, technically the closer is the live version of Cable.
Another problem. It's another big problem I have. It closes with a live version of Cables, which is vastly inferior to the original, and it seems weirdly unnecessary. Like the album is like 40 minutes or 38 minutes, something like that. You could have left off that live track and it would have still been a full album as far as we're concerned. And because they put that there, it really kind of feels like they just ran out of songs. Like, fuck it, throw a live song in there. Just, I don't know. It's weirdly...
Give them some bang for their buck.
I guess so. But one thing we didn't mention about Steve Albini is his hatred of CDs or of most media that isn't vinyl.
Yes.
This is where he kind of ventures into old crotchety old man territory, because of the compilation that I keep referencing is called The Rich Man's 8-track tape, which is literally a reference to CDs, because 8-tracks were considered state of the art when they came out and they died out very quickly. CDs kind of similar, but they lasted a little bit longer. So I don't know how he feels about digital stuff. Probably not great, because you got to, digital's all MP3, and that is, for audio files, it's considered a very inferior form of sound. I don't give a fuck, honestly, as a guy who loves music. My ear, I don't care about the finesse of my ear that much, I don't think, but
he reps FLAC files for sure.
FLAC is a very hefty file. Fuck FLAC, just because of how much space they take on my hard drive. That's the only reason why I don't like it. It's a great file, I'm sure, but yeah. So it ends with a thud like a motherfucker, man. Like, I didn't care for Strange Things, and ending it with a live track that we've already heard. It seems like I like this album a lot, but boy, that left me wanting more. Bazooka Joe and Stinking Drug, I think, are still really good. Especially Bazooka Joe sounds like if the Hawaii 5-0 theme was played by a power sander. It's like fun and upbeat and kind of like surf spy sounding, but
yeah, there's a few songs where they get into that surf vibe, surprisingly. So.
Oddly enough, yeah. I'm trying to think about, because I think maybe, I don't know if it's Rama Rama or El Duce that also have vibes like that. There are obviously singles that aren't streaming, but yeah, that's not uncommon.
I guess
it is weird hearing it with that guitar tone there, that super screepy metallic guitar tone. It's very cool. I think it's cool anyway.
Getting into spoilers, I feel like Colombian Necktie is another surfy.
That is very true. That is off the last album. But even despite my problems with it, some of the best punk noise, whatever you want to call it, some of the best ever written. Brutal lyrics to match these punishing songs. Amazing production. It's just cacophonous in all the best ways. Wonderful. It's their most beloved album. It's I could see why, if you're gonna start with this band, start here. It's the shit. It's fucking great. But let's move on to a very interesting EP. Interesting in the things around it and all that.
Not as good as Atomizer.
And we'll explain that statement. This is 1987's Headache.
This is a great song, though.
I like that drum beat more than the song. I don't care for the song so much. It's a good bass line too, though. Now his voice sounds like his guitar.
Yeah, they kind of did that on Strange Things a little bit.
I definitely see how people would be turned off by this.
Yes, yeah. It's hardly a song.
And there's that fucking driving ass drum machine. All right. Same time? We're doing this at the same time? Worst.
Yeah, worst, least favorite.
Yeah.
It's not even, it's only 4 songs, but it's like, yeah, I find it the least interesting out of their.
Honestly, yeah.
Still worth a listen.
No,
I
yeah.
really, yeah. I like Grinder a lot.
Really? I hated that one.
It sounds like Big Black doing video game music. I think it's great.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. It actually does remind me of some old school Mega Man, but just Big Black doing it. Pete King of the Detectives, I think is fantastic. I think if that song closed Atomizer, I think Atomizer probably would have took best for me because it's a great song. It once again has that kind of spy vibe to it, but it's short. It's really snappy. It's really, I don't know, it's very cool. It's the only song on the EP that I actually like, but I'm actually surprised. I thought you were going to give Lungs worst because that's like the obvious worst for most people, I'd probably say, because it's so underdeveloped. But
sometimes I feel like a band that changes a lot, their first one can be charming in ways.
Exactly, and that's exactly why I think this is the worst, because that one has charm. That one is this one sounds like Atomizer but bad. It's like,
yeah, and it came with a sticker that said "Warning, not as good as Atomizer," because they knew it.
It literally said that. They literally marketed it as bad or as worse than the one before it, which is so self-aware and accurate. But also, don't tell us that. Come on, dude. Like, that's horrible marketing. I love it. I appreciate it, and I think more people should do that. But it's bad marketing.
Yeah, I thought it was very funny reading about it on one of Sonic Youth's albums. They also put same sticker on one of their albums.
I know we'll do Sonic Youth at some point because they are not broken up, but boy, do I feel like that about a lot of their albums.
Well, look, most albums aren't as good as it's a high bar.
Yeah, fair. To be fair, yeah, it is a high bar, but like Ready Man is not terrible, and even like My Disco and Grinder, the other 2 songs, like they're not bad songs. It's just
terror. Yeah, it's just not as interesting.
Not as interesting. Horrible pacing. There's damn near no pacing because like My Disco is not an opening song. That's like that's the weird song to put at the beginning of your EP. One thing, how much do you know about the original packaging of this EP?
Oh, that it was a dude whose head was blown off.
It was a guy who had been shot in the face with a shotgun, a photograph. It was a head split apart. It was a photograph of a head split apart. Obviously, this caused some problems for them. I don't know what the fuck you were thinking.
Should I look at it?
Okay, before you look at it, I want you to look at it, okay, in real time, but not yet. Because I want you to keep in mind, I think a while back, I think it was on the Sublime episode 26 probably. I told a story about how I'd watched the Bud Dwyer shooting himself on TV.
Yeah.
I watched that video a bunch of times as a teenager because I was a fucked up teenager. And you know why I watched it that many times, or why I even saw it, is because of Steve Albini's following band. It was a band called Rape Man, which he started with Ray Washam and David Sims of Scratch Acid. So they did like one album and one EP. The EP was called Bud. It was named after Bud Dwyer. The lyrics were the people in the audience saying "Bud don't, Bud don't." It's a crazy song. And because of Steve Albini, I looked up that video and then watched it a bunch of times because I'm mentally ill. So because I'm on that same kick, I looked up the Headache cover and then put it on my MySpace profile for like a year. So Jesus. I want you to look at it with knowing that a young idiot Mike had that on his MySpace profile for a long time. Please look at it in real time, please.
Man, I'm kind of okay because like the Bud Dwyer thing, he shoots himself, but it's a clean shot.
It's a clean shot, yeah.
It's not a shotgun.
No, this is not clean. I want to see your response and your reaction.
Oh, okay, wait. Okay. Man, it's blown up. Hold on. Okay. Oh, yeah. Man, okay. So they have that Garth Ennis comic book, Preacher, with a character named Arseface about, and there's the TV show now, about a kid who tried to kill himself and survived. And to be honest, that cover is not far off how they draw him. So that was gnarly, but the
You've been prepared.
Preacher comic book kind of.
Yeah, it's no, for sure they use that. They use like, you know, real photos as reference for that kind of stuff, which I feel bad honestly for like game developers and artists who have to stare at horrible images just to get a good reference.
Was it you or I think Matt Berlinski? Someone was saying the developers on the new Mortal Kombat game had like PTSD from looking at.
I heard that as well. I don't know if I told you that, but I definitely heard that. That's horrifying.
It might have come up while all three of us were hanging out.
And so clearly, once again, Albini is being an asshole. That's pretty much what that cover is. If you want to be upset for a few minutes, go ahead and Google that. But aside from that, it's worth a shot, you know, but it's like, if you don't love Atomizer, don't even bother, probably. It's just short, but nothing really happens over the course of its shortness. Like, at least with the earlier EPs, they're short as well, but they jam pack it full of fucking bangers.
There's stories to be, not that there's not stories here,
right?
Less cohesive.
Yeah. So we are here. Dude, I am fucking sweating bullets the whole time, just hoping my computer doesn't crash again. But
we're almost done.
We're almost done. This is the final album. Here we are, 1987's Songs About Fucking. Now this is a fucking opener. Even noisier, even heavier, even faster.
And true to the album title is the song about fucking. Told from the perspective of a truck driver.
How lovely. Oh, this breakdown. Oh, it's so good. So this song ends in about 20 seconds. It's a very short opener. Hey, Alex, what do I think about this album?
Is it your best album?
It's my best album.
I get that.
Yeah, I really love this album. I really love it. And I loved it as a kid. I love it just as much now. I thought my opinions were going to change. They did not. As much as I get the Atomizer argument, and I think it's a wonderful album, this one is just more consistent, better paced. It ends really well. The weaker songs in the middle, they're all super, super duper short. This album wastes no time.
Yeah, I can see arguments for both. Like, I'm not I'm not married to either or. They're both great. I remember the first time I saw this, you don't know if the band, like, where, because this looks like it's one statement. Big Black Songs About Fucking.
Right.
So that's kind of funny.
It is a very bold title.
You're like, is that the title? Is that the band name? Where does one end? Where does the other begin?
Yeah.
And then, this was released after they broke up.
Right.
So that's wild too.
I remember this is a weird kind of full circle thing. In high school, I was dating a girl whose nickname was Kinky. All right. I told her I was listening to this album called Songs About Fucking, and her response, I wonder what her response was. It was, "Oh, I got to hear this." So,
hell yeah.
Yeah. Like, I really love this album. For one, it's bold and gnarly, and all the words are really, the lyrics are just, as ridiculous and over the top as they've always been. But this also, I mentioned it on our Kraftwerk episode 40. This is my favorite cover of The Model is on this album. And if anybody who's heard The Model or heard that episode, this is Big Black's version.
Somehow I recognized it instantly without looking at the...
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a great song. I love The Model. And there it is. Buzzsaw all over again. So if the original Kraftwerk version was a little too German, a little too poppy and electronic, this version is a lot harsher.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
Still maintains it. This album is definitely less hooky. There's less melodies than Atomizer, which is fine. They're just different things.
Yeah, this one is far more punishing.
Yes, and then, like I said, Colombian Necktie is pretty surf rocky, especially for a band like this.
It is. And actually the first half, not the first half, but like the first 4 or 5 songs, they're so fucking brutal. Like Bad Penny starts out with this really menacing bass line, and then it just turns into a mess. It's just a mess of noise in this big, giant, groovy bass drum line. And then El Dopa, which I completely forgot about until listening to this again. It is intense. It is less than 2 minutes of just this super high speed. I'm putting it on. I'm just putting it on. Here's El Dopa.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
It just sounds like both guitar players are just hammering on all the open strings. That's what it sounds like.
I couldn't tell if it was about someone who was like a junkie and then wanted to get sober, or someone who is in a coma that they're trying to bring out of the coma.
I think it's about. I think El Dopa. I don't know if it's called El Dopa, but it's a form of sick. They call it sleeping sickness.
Okay.
It's a real. I'm gonna actually look it up right now. Just to,
you do that.
Let's see. I think it's called trypanosomiasis. I can't read it. It's a sickness.
It's a disease.
It's a disease.
Yeah.
It's a disease. I think it's primarily African, I believe, or it came from Africa or something like that. I don't know what it is. I think it's bad. I'm pretty sure the song is about that. And I only know that because I think there's a live version where he says this song is about sleeping sickness, and then he plays that song. So maybe I'm cheating, whatever. But what else is amazing with this fucking album? Good.
I think my favorite song on here is Eargot.
Oh, dude, it's barely music, and I love it.
Because it's barely music until it is, and that's one of my favorite guitar. I hesitate to call it riffs, but one of my favorite guitar playing of Big Black on that track.
Why not put on just a second? Because all these songs are so short. Let's do it. Here we go.
It revs up and down, and then
yeah, that's just hammering on a harmonic note. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. It goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. Oh, it's great.
Barely music.
Barely music. It's barely music. Oh, it's fucking great. That's so cool. One what I want to talk about is indeed Kitty Empire. So
that's a weird song. That's a weird. I mean,
is it about a cat? Is it about? It sounds like it's about a cat.
Yeah,
literally like a cat just being king. Because I mean, I guess that's like a weird anthropomorphization of a cat. Because I think we all kind of look at cats as though they think they're higher than us.
Yes.
That's just sort of like a very elaborate representation of that kind of mindset. But the song is straight up Ministry industrial. Like, I don't know how this doesn't get cited as pioneering industrial. Like, that's industrial as it gets.
It's crazy. I feel like all the like hard rock people love Albini, and then I guess I don't really follow the industrial scene that much, so I don't know what his stance is there. But like the bands he works with now are very much, hard rock all the way.
Yeah, I can't imagine too many pop artists going to his really old school studio paying $10 to record a full album, essentially.
I almost wonder if any have, getting off topic a little bit, but that'd be funny if they did. Kashmir Polanski.
Yeah.
I think that's more like corrupt cop shit. I love the outro on that song. It's barely there, but it's good.
I think that's my weakest song on the album. I think I like that one the least. Just because it's like, it sounds like a hard rock song. The riff is a very hard rock riff. It's kind of like a sore thumb, I think. It's not a bad song by any means. It's just whereas the rest of the album is, because it's like less than 30 minutes. This album is very short, and kind of from beginning to end, it is like unrelenting attack. And only toward the end does it start getting a little bit more melodic. Like Tiny King of the Jews is fucking beautiful. Love it.
That's good guitar playing too.
It's wonderful. It's really nice. And then the bombastic intro, which is it's an outro. I don't know why it's called intro.
Oh yeah, very reminiscent of like Kiss or like Led Zeppelin, like da 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 da.
Yeah,
da, da,
yeah. It's 30 seconds. It's just an outro, and it's also instrumental. But it is abrasive, but very fucking. It's like I don't want to say triumphant, but it's very like it makes you feel like you want more.
Yeah.
I don't want this fucking album to end when I hear that. Like, God, I don't want this album to end ever. I really fucking like the whole thing. Even like
Fish Fry is one of the lyrical songs that I was like, oh, that's real heavy. Why you got to sing about that?
Which one's that? I mean, I know the song, but what's it about?
It's about a dude who goes out with a girl who wouldn't go out with his brother, and he ends up killing her.
Oh, wonderful. Fuck.
And of course it goes into detail,
and that is definitely one of their noisiest songs ever. That one is,
yeah.
Okay, once again, another song where it doesn't sound like they're playing any riffs. It just sounds like metal clanging together. Precious Thing sounds like if you took the most 80s song ever and put it through a wood chipper. Like it has all the big blackness that we've come to love, of course, but like those drums and that bass line, it's all funky. It's like weird fucking song, weird album, but punishing, fast, short, noisy. It's everything I love about Big Black in just one really beefy package. By beefy, I mean like no real estate wasted. Every frequency is used very effectively, as for lack of a better term.
Very efficient man.
Yeah. Perfect. It's one of the better representations of the band, and I think it's a definite swan song. But I still say start with Atomizer. That one is far more inviting, and that's a loose term for this band. God damn, I fucking love him. I love him so much. I love Albini. Over the years, I've grown to not look at everything he shits as gold, where I used to definitely be like that when I was younger. But going back to this band, they hold up so well.
I used to be that way with certain producers, and even though he doesn't like that label, but I used to be that way. But still, for the most part, solid track record, even as a engineer.
Yeah. He still records very infrequently with Shellac these days. I'm also a fan of them, but I think we should at some point cover Rape Man. It's literally one album, one EP. I think they're very cool. Not easy to find these days. I had it on CD. It's not streaming. But once again, when the name of the band is Rape Man, it's very much Albini doing his thing, pissing people off, using bad words,
And they got back together for a one-off in '06, right?
Ooh, Big Black or Rape Man?
Big Black.
I believe so. They did.
Yeah, and it wasn't. They said it was out of respect for Touch and Go Records.
It was. It was
so much.
It was
them wanting to get back together.
Right. Touch and Go is the record label that Steve Albini's been with forever. They They released obviously all of Big Black stuff. They did everything Midwest for the most part. So everything from Chicago and stuff. That's all Touch and Go. I believe Slint was Touch and Go. We talk about the Necros every once in a while. They're on Touch and Go. Good record label, good ass record label, and they had like a anniversary thing. So he reunited Big Black with Santiago and Jeff Pizzotti on bass. Dave Riley, the second bass player from Atomizer onward, he died like 2 years ago, I think. Only 59, kind of a bummer, but
relatively young.
Yeah, relatively. But yeah, Albini's still very active, still beloved, still charging fucking nothing to record, pretty much. He has like a daily rate, which is insane for anybody in the music business, especially someone who's as successful as him. And I don't know, he's a very interesting, he's a character in the music industry. Very much the guy who lives in the woods by himself, away from everybody.
Yes.
I respect the hell out of it. I love it.
Yeah, almost to he's produced so much stuff that I bet if you're a fan of hard rock, even if you've never heard of Steve Albini, you have a few records he has.
1000%. And he records, and it's funny how so damn, I don't know if egalitarian is the right word to use, but it doesn't matter who the hell you are. You could have your mom as your only fan and he'll record you for the same. Nobody's recorded with him all the fucking time. Like it's like,
oh yeah. Like he did a album with Weed Eater, and Weed Eater is just,
I've heard the name.
Trashy stoner metal band.
Yeah.
They aren't really big at all.
And he's also done, what's her fucking name? The Harp Girl. Shit, what's her name?
Harp Girl.
God damn, she plays a giant harp. She's like into that folky, artsy, underground indie thing. Oh man,
you got me, Mike.
Got me. Fuck. I'm gonna forget her name. Oh no, and I have no way to Google it too. Shit. Hold on, I'm gonna Google it real quick. Let me see how good my Googling skills are.
Yeah, you got while Mike's doing that, you got Slint Records, you got Melt Banana, the Jesus Lizard.
Joanna Newsom. There it is. Joanna Newsom. That's who he records a lot with.
Okay.
Oh man, I can't believe I literally Googled harp music artist, indie female, and it came up. So listen, man, Google's really powerful. Google's your friend. Indeed. Until it's not. Yeah, he's recorded everybody. And like honestly, I'm overstating. All of my favorite records, or most of my favorite records that sound the best, like my favorite sounding records, usually done by Steve Albini. In Utero from Nirvana, Goat from the Jesus Lizard, which I think might be the best sounding record of all time. Goat.
It's real good.
It's incredible. Obviously all the Shellac stuff, Big Black stuff, Rape Man.
Neurosis.
We keep brushing on Rape Man a little bit. That record, their first album, sounds incredible because you also get Ray Washam, who's the drummer for Scratch Acid, one of the most underrated drummers I think of all time. His drumming with Steve Albini's production is, it's so satisfying. It's so damn satisfying.
Probably, sounds amazing. I haven't heard it.
We will.
There's no way it doesn't sound.
Seriously. But before we spend the next half hour gushing more about this fucking man and all the things that he does, just Google him, look up his stuff, interviews. He's a fun guy, interesting guy, and good music. So to recap, we're going to do this chronologically. Okay. Where am I at? 1984, Racer X. That is my personal favorite. It is the first truly badass Big Black record. I feel like holds a dear place in my heart. Love it a lot. Headache, 1987. That is the worst. in my opinion. It's not even bad. It's just doesn't offer anything that you're not going to get better with their other records. And 1987, Songs About Fucking, that is my best. I love this album. It is a concrete mixer in album form. It's wonderful. Alex.
I'll keep this effective like Steve does. Best personal favorite, Atomizer. Worst least favorite, Headache.
Beautiful. And thank you so much for listening and watching. This has been one of my favorite, funnest episodes, even with my fucking PC crashing in the middle of it. I still love this band so much. I'm glad we got to talk about them. But if you want to share us, help us, support us, fucking tell a friend. For the love of God, please tell a friend. Someone who likes Big Black. You probably won't get mad at us if you like Big Black, because we did not talk a whole lot of shit this episode. But please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Do all the stuff if you want. And if you want to follow along with us and check out the bands, albums, artists that we are currently covering in real time, you can follow me on Instagram at Pope Jesse Ventura. I'll be posting which artists we're currently covering, and you could listen on your own. Email us if your thoughts, opinions, fucking hatred, whatever. Send your emails to everyalbumever@gmail.com. Also, everyalbumever@gmail.com. Did I say that right? Whatever. Also, be sure to follow Alex on Instagram at
Mother Puncture.
Hell yes. And of course, as always, you can suggest an artist at the same email address, everyalbumever@gmail.com. Artists that are preferably dead or just broken up, or something that we can, there's a cohesive beginning and end, so we can talk about them as though they are dead, even if they are not. Spotify playlist. You can find a link in the description of wherever you're listening and watching. There will be songs, our favorite Big Black songs, all over the place. As well as everyalbumever.com, where we have playlists associated with every single episode that we've done. Okay. Oh God, I need to get better at plugs. Good Lord, I need to fucking practice in a mirror or something.
I don't know.
hate
I
it.
think that was pretty good.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Beginning and end.
I'll take it. Thank you so much. So I'm picking the last song. I didn't think about what song I want to end this with. But I don't want to do Kerosene, because everyone's expecting Kerosene.
Yeah.
But we also played a little bit of everything. So okay. Here's what we're gonna do. This is so hard for me for some fucking reason.
I thought you would have thought this through.
I just like them all so much. And we are, you know what? This is what feels right. This is what feels right to me. We're going past the complexion off of Atomizer. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. See ya. Hitting too hard or not hard enough. I don't know exactly. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Oh, that's not good.